Alright, this is the video for you guys who missed my class, so enjoy. Hope you can hear me. There we go. Can y'all hear me? Come around there if you want. There's a chair over here if you want it. You want a stool? You can bring it over there. It comes unconnected if you... Just kidding. Yeah, whatever you guys want. How's everybody doing? Good. Good? Hell yeah. You got your Snapchat? Snapchat? Alright, what's up? Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I have like 6 of them. But this company, Western Digital, sponsored me, so I can, at the end of the class, I give away this hard drive to one person. So it's kind of like a little trade-off. So cool. So I think that's worth it. Just wear a shirt. I gotta make the text. I designed it. It's really complicated design. Yeah, and then they're like, well, we just have to put our logo on it. I was like, all right, cool. So I thought that was pretty chill. Most companies would be like, wear this shitty shirt. So how's everybody doing? See any bands yet? I know it's a little early. Saw some? Alright, cool. But who'd you see? Beartooth, maybe? Amity Affliction? Oh, they already played? Damn, a lot of bands. What is it, like 12? How many days can you see 4 bands before noon? Pretty cool. Alright, so, everybody here kind of a little bit interested in photography, more specifically music photography. Cool, like music, you like photos, kind of put them together. We're on the same page. Alright, sick. So I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of what we're going to talk about today. The idea behind this class, or just hangout, is basically that you can go away with this with knowing how to get involved with music photography, what you can do, because it's perfectly accessible for everybody. And there's a lot of different jobs you can have in music photography. You can work for the bands, you can work for a magazine, you can work for a music label, you can work for the promoter of your local venue, you can work for pretty much anybody in music. And it's totally accessible to pretty much anybody as long as you're a good person. So we're just going to talk about that. Yeah, if you have any questions throughout this, kind of wait for me to talk about something and then ask me the question after. And if for some reason I didn't answer it by the end and you still have a question, then ask me and it's totally fine. I definitely love getting questions because it helps me make sure you leave with the information you wanted. I don't want you guys to leave bummed out. That's not the idea, alright? And then if, for example, you remember something in an hour, you're like, oh crap, why didn't I ask him this? You can email me. You got that? Everybody? Cool. That way, no matter what, you can be stoked. I don't want anybody leaving bummed, so, but hopefully this class is exactly what you want it to be, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions along the way. So, these are my notes, that's what I'm looking down at, just to stay on track. But, so, I'm a music photographer, and I work mostly with the bands one-on-one, which probably takes the longest to kind of get involved because you got to really get to know them. But you can work with publications that do that as well, with promoters. You can pretty much do anything as long as you have a camera and you go to concerts. And photography is what I'm obsessed with. I do it for an unhealthy amount of time, I would say, pretty much every day, all day. And but it takes me a really long time to learn things, so that's how I have to be if I want to get better at something. Some people are gifted and are very, very good photographers from the get-go. More power to you. I'm not that way. I'm a very bad photographer to begin with, so every day I work very hard to try to get a little bit better. But that's where I'm at, and can you guys all hear me? Alright, cool. There's gonna be music, so if you can't hear me, let me know. I'll turn up. But I think we're good right now. Basically, what do you guys have that you're obsessed with in life right now? For me, when I was 16, it was video games. That's what I loved. What about you guys? Anything? Music. Music. Do you play music or listen to music? Play? You listen? Yeah, you could kind of do it for months, for weeks, for days, whatever. What else?
I play drums.
Drums? Awesome. Film photography? What about you? Photography. So some of you it's photography already. If you're like me, it was something you definitely couldn't make a living off of unless you're very, very good at video games, which I am not. So I did not do video games. Hi. We literally just started. Yes, perfect timing. Welcome. So basically my thought process behind finding a career in life is finding something you can kind of get pretty obsessed with. Something you can like do for days, weeks, that you don't really have to think about doing. You just enjoy doing it. No matter how long, and that's how personally I get a lot better, and that's how I enjoy learning and how I do the best at my job. And some people may tell you different, but that's kind of how I feel it works. And I guess throughout this workshop, I'm trying to tell you what I know and using it as a guideline, but there's a lot of different ways to do everything, and none of them are wrong or right. It's just whatever works for you. So this is what worked for me, and hopefully you can take bits and pieces of it, kind of apply it to your life. But we all got different lives, so you gotta keep that in mind. But for me, yeah, turn it up a little bit. All right, cool. I think this is it. Check, check. Is that getting louder? Check, check. It's okay? All right, cool. If you can you hear now? All right, I can also talk louder, but I don't want to blow your guys' ears out. You can hear? You can hear? Sick. All right, cool. Yeah, Warp Toury workshops are very Warp Toury in the way that like some days will just be raining and we'll be all standing up in here like huddled in a circle. So today's actually pretty good. But yeah, so because of basically, I'm kind of know what I like to do right now in life, but I don't really know what I like to do that far in the future. And that's how I was when I was 16. I was like, I like to do music photography, but in 15 years it'd be cool to be Slipknot's photographer or something, but I really don't actually know what I want to do with my life. And I've always kind of had that mindset. I was like, I don't know what to do. My parents were like, you gotta go to school, you gotta figure it out. And I was like, I don't know. There's nothing for me to predict that. So I've kind of lived my life for the past 10 years very like in the moment or in the now. And I kind of operate on very small goals. So daily, weekly, monthly, and that's how I kind of keep myself going. I think it's good to have like an idea in the back of your head where you want to go with it. But to me, it's really kind of hard for me to imagine, you know, 10 years ago, I would never be able to know what I was doing today. That's pretty unrealistic for how I work, and hopefully for other people too, but it's really hard to be like, hey, I want to be a doctor and I'm going to do that, and I'm still going to be interested in that in 15 years. So for me, I kind of just go with whatever works. Whatever I'm enjoying right now in life, as long as I'm having a good time with it, that's kind of success to me. So if you like music photography right now, do it. Enjoy it. Do as much as you can, and maybe it'll lead to something else you love even more, or maybe you'll stick with it, and whatever it is, just keep going with it. And that's how kind of I go about my life. So hopefully you can kind of have that mindset for a little bit with me, and you guys don't think I'm too psycho right now. It's good? Alright, sick. Cool, we're on the same page. So yeah, within this industry, a lot of everything you do doesn't really revolve around skill, which is kind of good because you can get started without being a very good photographer, which is okay. It's kind of tricky, but it's pretty cool because anybody can really get paid, and you can get paid while you're learning, and you can do whatever you want. But the hard part about this industry is it all revolves around other people. It doesn't revolve around your own decisions only, it revolves around other people helping you. So it's really good that you know a lot of people, but it's even better that other people kind of know who you are. And that's how you kind of get work. You kind of get hooked up. So for example, has anybody here shot a show? No? Alright, yes. How did you guys get into this concert to take the pictures? Yeah? You know the people in the band? What about you? Your dad worked at the rave? Perfect. Who else raised their hand? How'd you get in the... Contact the band's management? Awesome. Oh, that's what you did as well? Through the band? Basically, every job you get kind of is like that in this industry. You kind of get hooked up. It's just by knowing somebody. Maybe you know the manager, maybe you know the band, maybe you know the publicist or the security guard, or your dad works at the venue. That's really how the whole industry works. It's called networking. It's really just about who you know. And people want to help out good people. So that's kind of why you have to be a good person. Just a second, I want to do something. Help with wind or something if you get a little cooler in here. Maybe not. But is it too loud now or is it okay? Okay, cool. Try to get some air going. But basically, you need to kind of know people, and more importantly, they know you, and that's called networking. So you do this kind of by putting yourself in a position to meet people. So we can all kind of agree that, let's say you want to shoot Warp Tour. You don't know how to shoot Warp Tour, that's quite a big thing to do, but you know that if you go to Warp Tour and meet people, you have a kind of a better chance of doing it than if you stayed at home, right? Maybe there's like 10 more steps after coming to Warp Tour, but at least that's like the first step. And that's how you kind of operate everything. And I call that kind of creating your own luck. So because so much of getting these jobs revolves around other people helping you, you really can't force them to do anything, but you can put yourself in the position to kind of receive that as much as possible. So go to concerts, go to local shows, talk to people, meet people, be a good person. And the more you do that, the better chance you have of working for more people. Does that make sense? Cool. And I wish it was like, hey, if you go to this concert, then you get to shoot Slipknot. But it doesn't really work like that. There's no like act and reaction. It's not that simple. It's kind of like, hey, if you go to this concert, you have a better chance of shooting Slipknot, but it won't, there's about maybe 50 other steps in between there. I mean, it'll take 5 years, but the important part is you kind of just start doing it. And you get out there and start working. And basically, you be happy with everything along the way. Don't figure out where you want to be. Like, I want to be a Slipknot's photographer and get bummed every day until you're a Slipknot's photographer. You want to be stoked with everything you're doing. You want to enjoy it because that's how you get better. And that's really like basically, as you achieve these goals, once you do it once, you're gonna kind of get bored. You're like, well, I did that. I need something more challenging, and then that's gonna help you grow. And if all your life you're trying to be some master photographer and then you become it, then what next? You gotta, then you're kind of stuck. It's like, I did everything for this. So you just want to constantly just kind of be growing and meeting people, but doing it. Basically, getting started, going out there and shooting is the most important part. Does anybody in school, guys, I don't know everybody's age, but does anybody take classes in school for photography? Cool. Are you guys college, high school? College? Cool. I don't know what your teachers tell you, but when I go and I talk to teachers in high school and college that teach photography, they tell me the hardest part with their students is some of their students do the classes and do all the assignments, but it's really hard to get people out there shooting on their own. Kind of shooting what they enjoy, what I call like your personal work. So when you take the photo, you get like super stoked. You almost want to like grab it out of your screen. You're like so excited. It's awesome. You want to get that feeling when you take your photos and find those things. And I think that maybe the reason is people don't really enjoy what they're shooting, or they're just shooting their assignments. But it's important to kind of find what you enjoy and just do it. So like the first class I did of this, somebody really liked shooting snake eyes, and I just told her, just take a lot of pictures of snake eyes. Get really good at it. That's awesome. And maybe from there you'll start taking pictures of reptiles, and then you'll start shooting zoos. Who knows? Just do what you really enjoy. And that's the thing the teachers always have me talk to their students about, is kind of getting out there and learning. Because all the things you have to learn about photography, the technical stuff, that's kind of the easy stuff. That's the stuff that's accessible online. You can learn that in school. That's the stuff everybody has to know. The stuff that takes a long time and you have to lay a lot of work and build is the networking, or the meeting people, or the forgetting your memory card at home, or your battery dying on the job. All the stupid mistakes you have to make. You got to start doing those in order to get better. You got to be anxious. You got to learn how to talk to people, and that's the stuff that takes a really long time. At least for me. If you're super outgoing and good with people, then more props to you. But for me, I just like taking photos, and those are skills I didn't even have. I was very nervous when I started. I actually did my first paid photo shoot in Milwaukee because I'm from Madison. So for me, that was the hardest part, and that's what takes a lot of time. And it also revolves around other people. So you have to start meeting these people, kind of becoming friends with them, and so they trust you and want to work with you. So if you kind of think, you want to start with your friends and family. That's who you want to start working for. Maybe take some local band photos, some portraits of your family. Kind of just shoot everything you can of photography and anything. The hardest part about music photography is kind of making a living off of it. It's hard to make money on it, just to be upfront with you guys. It takes a few years to kind of get well established enough to make a living off of it. So I do suggest shooting maybe weddings or portraits or something else that you can kind of start with to gain skills that you can still use in music photography, but also get paid for. Does that make sense? So when I started, I worked at Burgers, Bagels, and Panera. I don't know how many have day jobs, but that's just how I work to get money for a camera. But my goal wasn't to my whole life work. I call it 8 hours for somebody else or 16 hours for yourself every day. So I'd rather be working twice as long for something I love than working 8 hours for something I'm just doing to get a paycheck. That to me is more fun. I learn a lot more. And no hate to anybody who, if you want to work at Panera, that's totally fine. It's whatever works for you. But for me, I just needed something like, I don't know, I was a little bit more selfish in a way, but not in a bad way. I just like doing my own thing. And photography was kind of how I did that. But yeah, you start with your friends, start with your family. Has anybody done photo shoots, friends and family, local bands? Yeah. You kind of get in the, kind of like, it seems pretty, you can ask people to take their photos. It seems kind of normal. You're like, hey, can I take a picture? And from there, maybe you can get more jobs. But if you can kind of think about that feeling of asking your friends and family to take photos, that's the kind of feeling that every step of your career should kind of feel like. So I know it's kind of weird to think now, like, how am I ever going to feel comfortable asking Slipknot to take photos of them? That's weird. But basically your career should grow kind of organically or slowly. So start small and it kind of just grows like this. You can jump around, but to me you're missing a lot of things and you're not learning a lot of things. You're missing a lot of connections and things that you want to do. And it's not as organic. It's more like a thought out process of how can I get to the next level? When really it should just be like, all right, I'm going to shoot what I like, I'm going to shoot who I'm friends with, and I'm going to do good work and kind of grow from there. And with that, you kind of get a network that supports you and people who enjoy your work, and it kind of enables you to have a career that you won't really like fall off. I don't know, I kind of relate it to a band. Like, let's think like Cobra Starship. Do you guys remember them? Probably haven't heard anything about them in a long time, and it's because they were a band for maybe a year or two and they got huge, right, off of one song, and then they didn't have any other songs, so they fell off. But they did, if you think of a band like, let's say, All Time Low, Love's been around for 10 years, and they've slowly been getting bigger and bigger, right? And they have all these fans that support them every year, and no matter what they do, even if they don't do something that's amazing, as long as they keep doing their thing, they have all these people that support them because they're good people. People connect with them when they like their music. It's kind of similar with photography. You can do good work, you have people that support you, you're not really gonna find yourself jobless ever. And that's what I think is very important. And it's called networking. So, does that make sense to everybody? Cool. Questions? Hit me with them. Nothing? Can I turn it up more? Turn up? Did that help? Did that screw over here? I can try. This is my first time actually turning it up on my own. I usually have to help. Check, check. Is that louder? I think. Is that too loud? Hello. Hi. Cool. No questions? You guys are good? You get this? Alright, sick. Let's check the time. Cool. I gotta do water, lose my voice. Okay. So, cool thing about photography is you can kind of make money along the way. Anybody get paid for their photo shoots yet? Anything? Cool. Is this like echoing now? Or good? Alright. That's good. You can get paid a small amount when you start, and you kind of work your way up. And to me, I kind of just did photo shoots and everything like that until I could kind of, oh, you know what? Just a second. Check, check. Alright, I think it's good. I might have just turned up the bass. I don't know how to work sound, I'm sorry. I just take pictures. You can make money along the way, and you can kind of learn along the way too. And for me, it took me like 5 years to kind of really start liking my photos. But just because you don't like your photos and you're like, this isn't my best work, doesn't mean that you can't get hired and get paid for it. And it doesn't mean you're not getting that job done. You are. Your client still is getting stoked on photos that are better than what they can take, and you're still completing it. And I just kind of post the photos I'm most stoked about and keep everything else hidden, if you know what I mean. So you kind of, and you gotta shoot what you want to get hired for. That's kind of the tricky part. So it's like, how can I get a job for something if they won't take me for the job unless they've seen what I've shot? And how can I shoot it unless, you know what I mean? It's kind of a little tricky. And that's why you gotta shoot personal work. So you gotta kind of self-assign. If you want to shoot music, you gotta go out there and shoot your friends and family. If you want to shoot snake eyes and get hired for it, you gotta shoot snake eyes. You gotta find a way to kind of do it on your own so that people can see what you can do and then hire you for it. But yeah, I say start with your friends and family and kind of grow from there. So you shoot your friends, you shoot your family, you get hooked up, go to concerts, and you just basically meet all the local crews, all the local people who work at the venues, all your friends, everybody. You want to become very good at it. Learn your camera very technically. Just get as good as you can at everything. And then when you're ready to take the next step, go for it. And the next step to me is kind of like reaching out and emailing people. So after a while, you won't really have any friends in common with Taking Back Sunday, maybe. Or they're coming through the area and you don't know anybody related to them. Just a second. Check, check. Alright, cool. I'm just going to talk louder. I can feel the bass hitting me. If you don't know anybody related to them, you're good? Check, can you hear me? Come closer if you need to. I don't know. I feel like... Alright, cool. I hope. Can you hear me over here? Alright, cool. Yeah, so emails. Anybody send more than 10 emails a day? At all? Alright, cool. So basically the people you're emailing in the music industry, managers, publicists, that's how you kind of get a photo pass to a show. And when they give you a photo pass, you get to shoot like the first 3 songs of each band at a concert. And that's kind of the textbook way to shoot a show. That's like the on the paper way. And to get that, you got to email somebody. And the people who are emailing get hundreds of emails a day. They sit at a desk all day and they kind of plan out everything a band does. Whether it be their photo shoots, or where they're going for dinner, or how they have to get to this venue, or what they have to put on the stage. There's somebody arranging all that in an office. That's kind of important to acknowledge that you got to respect their time. So to respect their time, you basically gotta make sure your email's short. And I messed up on that when I was starting. I had no idea how to do this. I was like 17. I'd go to a MySpace and I would just email or message everybody, and I wouldn't get any responses. I would send them like the longest email ever. It'd be like a whole page of writing and be like, this is where I'm from, this is what I do, this is what I like to shoot, here's some photos, and I would just mess it up from the get-go. Basically, that's kind of like your first impression with somebody, and you gotta make sure your first impression is good. And the key with these people is they're just kind of looking to get shit done. That's what I say. Like, they just want to read your email, know what you're looking for, and respond to it. Even if it's a no, that's okay. Well, if I got a no, I was stoked. I would like check my computer every day at school and at lunch and I would get so stoked if someone's like, no, you can't do this. I was like, yes, they responded. Awesome. But, and it's good. And getting a no is totally fine. You kind of be okay with that. It's not like personal. It gets so many no's for everything I get yes to, but you can't know until you ask. And so you email this person and you keep it short. So let's say you want to shoot them at some Taking Back Sunday at the rave. You just say, hey, Mark, Taking Back Sunday is coming through the rave on June 25th. I would love to photograph them. Maybe you work for a publication. You're right. I work for, I don't know, The Onion. And I would like to take some photos for them. It'd be great to get a photo pass. Look forward to hearing from you. Here's my portfolio. Like 4 sentences, maybe. Probably 2 lines long, super short. Takes somebody like 5 seconds to read, you know? That's what you want to do. Keep it short. And basically they get that and they already know you know what you're doing because they know you know how to send emails, which is kind of one of the most basic parts of business. But if somebody didn't tell you that, it'd be kind of hard. A lot of the emails I get from people are a few paragraphs, and I can read them because I don't send hundreds a day, but a lot of people won't read those. That's something you kind of save if you know somebody and you're reaching out on something and you already know each other. So send that email, ask for photo passes, and the key to getting a photo pass, kind of by the textbook way, is to have a publication. Does anybody here shoot for a publication? What do you shoot for? Mixin' Thugs? Big City Thugs. That's a cool publication. Basically, a publication is like a magazine, a blog, anything that publishes articles or photos about an event. And the goal for the people, like the bands or the events, is that more people know about what happened. So their job is to kind of let other people know what was happening. So your job is to get good photos of that and show them in their best light. And you can get a job at a publication similar to how you get a photo pass. Just send a short email, provide your work, and say, I want to shoot for you. I'm shooting all these shows, here's what I've shot. If you shot a lot of local bands and a lot of things you can get in for free without a photo pass, you'll have some photos you've gotten already. And I know it kind of seems weird to just go and do this, but it's fine. Just go for it. Figure out what works, what doesn't, and don't worry about getting told no. And it'll totally work out. You just got to kind of go for it. And basically, you get that photo pass, and then you can shoot those shows. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's all there is to that. So short emails, that's the key to it. Just that's the basic key. Go for it. Don't worry about rejection. Just get out there and start doing it. I usually keep track of all the venues in the area, who's coming through, who I want to shoot, and then I go do research on who manages them or who's their publicist on their website. All the publicly accessible emails are who you want to email because that's why they're there. And try to get a pass. Hopefully you have a publication. If you can't find a publication to work for, just make one. Make a blog, make something with your friends, make a name for it that's not yourself. Get a custom URL. It's a little bit of work, but it can be fun. I had some friends actually from Madison when they were younger, and they would come to Warp Tour every year and get photo passes and interview bands, and I was so jealous. And it was just 3 of my friends, that's all they did. And kind of learned from them. I was like, I can do this? Cool, let's do that. But it's super simple. Just do it as a project. School newspaper, anything works. And Warp Tour themselves actually let you bring a professional camera into Warp Tour. Sometimes the venues don't let you, but if you talk to Warp Tour security, they'll be allowed in, even without a photo pass. And if you want to shoot Warp Tour, they're very open to new photographers. As long as even if your publication is small, it's just important you have one. It could even be your own blog. Just go for it. And if you can't get a pass through that way, then use something not textbook. Maybe hit up a band that's playing the Ernie Ball stage, the smallest stage. Maybe hit up, there's like 50 bands on this thing. You have no excuse to not be able to shoot it. You can email every band on here the same thing. I don't care. Just wait until you get a response and work with it. And yeah. And when you work with somebody, it's always important to follow through, keep a good relationship, because those people all work for other people. And maybe something didn't work out this time, or maybe something went really well, and the next time they have a band coming through, you can shoot them also. It's important to kind of establish those connections. You guys still with me? Questions? Nothing? Anything? Yes? A long time. I would say, well, I got my first paid photo shoot, it was only 50 bucks. I drove from Madison to here to shoot it, but that was like 2 years. And then after 3 or 4 years, I would start getting like a couple $100 for my photo shoots, which is when it kind of outweighed my day job, so then I quit and started doing my own thing. And then from there, it kind of just kept climbing as I would work with bigger and bigger artists and labels and things like that. And now I make a living off of it. My living is more of a collection of sources of income, so like your merch, like your hat, or like prints, or work for bands, magazines. I work for a lot of different things kind of put together. And a lot of music photographers do that, but most people are paid by working for a publication or working for a Prince or something like that. It's kind of got to get creative, but that's what I like about it. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want with photography these days. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. For a portfolio, good question. Portfolio is like, I usually say about 20 images. Your best images quality-wise. You want to make sure the band's like attractive. You want to make sure they look the best they can. Usually a photo should make somebody look better than they look in real life, not worse. So nothing like, you don't want any double chins, you don't want any like half blinking eyes or like saliva going up their face. Don't post that stuff. Nobody likes that stuff. They want to know that you're going to come to the show and make the artist look better than real life. That's why you're a photographer. You want the show to look as big as possible. But it doesn't so much matter the names as good photos. So a bad photo of Jared Leto is worse than a better photo of All Time Low. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I would suggest not using attachments. Maybe attach one photo, but you want to link your portfolio. Dropbox, 500px, anything like that. Just as long, custom URL is usually the best, but you can do that with Tumblr, I think, even. But whatever works for you, just make it work. Yeah, 20 images is what I suggest. Cool? Cool. I have written on here, don't be a dick, so don't be a dick. It's kind of straightforward. I guess style is something that you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever wondered when you look at photos, you're like, man, I want to shoot like that, or you try to like think about how to make your style look. I usually suggest that your style is sort of like yourself. You are your style. You already have a style. It's just the more you shoot, the more that'll come defined and fine-tuned. So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Use it for like inspiration, but try not to copy people so much, if that makes sense. You want to really shoot it how you want to, and look for that feeling that makes you stoked on something. And that's just honestly, doing it a lot is how your eye changes. You can't really force your eye to change. It just happens the more you shoot. So that's something important. Also, I forgot to say, but basically, yeah, go for it. Yeah. It always changes because what I think is good changes. So like everything after I shoot everything, like after a month I shoot it, I usually just don't like it anymore. Or like a year, I just like everything before, I'm like, what was I even thinking? Because it changes in such short ways, like you won't really notice till you put your images next to each other. You're like, wow, it's gotten better in all these ways. I didn't notice. But it should get better, and that's kind of how I judge how good a photographer is, by how much they've improved. Not by how good they are of who they've shot. That makes sense. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. And music photography, like I said, you can kind of get paid as you learn, but the most important part is networking, and that's why you see, I'm sure you guys all follow photographers online, and you're like, man, that photographer is really good. I understand why, you know, the Rolling Stones hires them to shoot all their concerts, but I'm sure you've also seen photographers, you're like, they are terrible. Why are these people hiring them still? I don't understand it. I could do that. And that's because they're good networkers, so they're good people to work with, and people just want to work with and recommend to other people that they trust and that they know will do a good job, regardless of what their work is like sometimes. So it's really just important you're a good person more than anything, to get jobs and kind of grow. I have about 15 minutes left. I have a few audio clips I want to show you, this thing I want to give away, but we have about 5 to 7 minutes for questions if you guys have anything. Otherwise I'll find more stuff to talk about. Yeah, go for it.
So what is the most boring and awful thing that you got paid to shoot?
The most boring stuff I get paid to shoot? Whenever stuff gets boring, I try to stop doing it and find other stuff I enjoy, but that's kind of like me trying, because you got to shoot what you want to get hired for. So if I'm getting hired for boring stuff, it means I'm shooting boring. But let's see, clothing companies I think are pretty boring. It's just like a shirt and a person over and over, and I wish that I could just find a robot to do it for me. But it was good money, so I kind of had to do it. I didn't post about it. I don't know, like 10 blog posts about 20 clothing companies, but that's kind of like how I made some money to buy gear. Questions about gear, or about, I don't know, going on tour, or about anything like that, stuff you see that you want to do. Yeah?
What was the first, like, significantly, like, big band?
It's kind of relative, I guess, you know, like, but every band that I work with that's bigger than anybody I work with, I think is huge. So when I started, like, I think the first bigger band I worked with was like Envy on the Coast. They're like, they're not a band anymore, but they flew me out to New York when I was like 17 to take photos with them, and I was super stoked. All the photos were terrible. They messed up big time by hiring me. And then like Four Little Lives from Minneapolis, they're like the first band I toured with, and then I had like every step I'd have like my first bus tour, I'd have my first photo shoot for AP, or my first photo shoot for this magazine. Every step kind of was super exciting, and then kind of get bored of it after you do it, and then you try to look for more things. So, but I don't know, still work with bands that I think are big. So just chain every step. That's kind of a half answer, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like, how do you go about like pricing yourself? Because like, I know you don't want to underpay, or you want to overpay, you want to be a good photographer, not a cheap photographer.
Yeah, definitely difficult. Probably like the hardest part of photography. I usually say like, think about how much you think you're worth and then just double it, and then tell people that price. I guess like when people ask me like, hey, can you shoot this for me? My first question is, what's your budget? That's what I use as my line. Usually if they have an idea in mind and they're serious about it, they'll tell you their price. And from there you can say yes or no. Usually they want a bargain, which I don't really do. So I'm just like, they're like, no, how much would you do it for? I'm like, I don't know, man. Tell me your budget and I'll make it work. And basically, I kind of gauge how much work I'm going to put into it depending on how much they'll pay me. So if they're like, hey, I'll give you this much money, I'm like, all right, I can do one setup and, you know, 10 photos at the end. If they're like, hey, I'll give you this much, then I kind of adjust accordingly. So I can really do any job, but I just decide depending on what the job is itself, if that makes sense. But generally speaking, if you're pitching the cost first, you're kind of working against yourself. So you want to let them say that, because if you say a cost and they say yes, you went too low. If you say cost, they say no, then maybe they're just gonna mess around with you. So I just let them say it first, and if they don't want to, I personally just move on. I'm just like, all right, I don't want to work with you. But that's my opinion. Some people like bargaining and stuff. I don't know. It tires me out. Yeah, go for it.
So you usually have a pretty cramped time frame for like photo shoots.
As far as like how long I get with them? Yeah, like especially when I was starting and doing photo shoots I would go to like the rave and stuff, and bands would come through. I'd do like 5-minute, 2-minute photo shoots with them, just super quick. I would set everything up, they would come and I would shoot it. And that's because I didn't really know them. And bands don't like doing photo shoots generally, especially when they're more established. So my goal for every photo shoot wasn't necessarily to get really good photos, but was to establish with said band that I was a quick, easy photographer to work with. So they would come through it and maybe get one good photo out of it. You know, that's all they really needed. So I always say, like, if you're working with somebody for the first time, the main thing you don't want to do is piss them off. So if, like, for example, Pure Seville, I'm at a Warped Tour, and I did a photo shoot with them in the grass. I'm, like, sitting down, and they were reluctant to do it. But that's, like, what started a relationship, and it took, like, 3 minutes, and they were, like, they tell me now, they're like, we did photo shoots with kids like that all the time, and they always sucked, and we came to yours, like, god damn it, we have to do another one of these photo shoots. And then they did it, and they're like, we love the images, and that's why they kept working with me, and you're fast and easy to work with. So it's kind of just, that's what's key to me when you do those photo shoots. But generally, yeah, bands are, if you sit there and if you look like you don't know what you're doing, then they're gonna know you're not what you're doing. Just lie, just make it up, just like front, just like, if you make mistakes, don't be like, oh shit, I forgot my battery. Just be like, oh, I gotta go, you just kind of just play it off, you know? You don't want them to know that stuff. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Not really. I kind of like, not to sound like too good for anything, but I'm kind of just, everybody's just people. Like, every person you meet is like so normal. There's some people where, I don't know, maybe Eminem, if Eminem came up to me, like, yeah man, I like your style. So we're both baldish. But I don't know, other than that, not really. It's more just like, oh shit, that's how you look in real life. But everybody's pretty normal. So not so much more. I'm trying to think the last person I got starstruck by. I don't know. Actors sometimes, I think. I'm like, oh sick. Yeah, go for it.
How often do people like come to you and like act so starstruck, like you're like in a band, but they like?
Well, if we're at Warped Tour a lot. If I'm at Warped Tour, like a mall or somewhere where people of this area hang out, then yeah, people come up. People like, I don't know. I'm like, why are you, people cry? I don't know, it's funny. It's kind of funny because I'm super normal. You can kind of tell, like, I'm not like anything crazy. It just, I don't know, we all have our online personas that people kind of see, so it's fun. I think it's fun to meet people in real life. It's, oh, you're real. Kind of fun. Yeah.
Funny, like, random question.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember on one of like your chat rooms you mentioned that like your career took off like a little while after you shaved your head.
Oh yeah.
Why did you decide to shave your head?
Cause, well, I had really long hair a long time ago. I have a photo actually. I have my Wisconsin ID still. Check it out. I look pretty messed up. This is from 2008, so you can kind of see Wisconsin. Yeah. I shaved my head because I didn't know. Like I would literally wake up every day and just hate how my hair looked, and I would like go to like the barbershop. I live in San Diego now. I'd go to like them and have them cut my hair, and every time I'd be like, I want to look more. I told him, I was like, I want to look more manly, and he would be like, what the hell are you talking about? And he would cut my hair every time. I'd be like, nah, this doesn't look good. And I'd just go home bummed out. I'd wake up, my hair would be like this weird flip thing, and so I just shaved it. And then yeah, it helped a lot with as far as like recognition, branding, and marketability went. But I didn't like think ahead of time. But people are always like, you're so smart for shaving your head. I'm like, I just shave my head. I don't know what you mean. It's a lot easier too. Like I just shave it every 4 days. Shave today. So yeah, but it did help a lot, and it's kind of like a beacon. People just see it. Yeah. Yeah. You want to what? Yeah. Yeah.
How do you start the conversation?
Well, I kind of think of like networking as like something that just kind of happens. So like, I think the wrong way to look at it is, I know I presented it in a pretty black and white way here, but you don't want to like go into something like, you don't want to be too LA about it is what I call it. Like you don't want to meet someone and be like, hey, I'm Adam, what do you do for a living? You know what I mean? You don't want to like cut straight to the point. You should kind of network because it's happening, because it's how you live, because it's how you are. If you're too like business about it and too straightforward about it, it's not really a good person. You're just kind of seeing what you can get out of other people. I try to kind of think of it as like, what can I do for other people? And then I have hopes that they help me out in the future, but I don't really expect it. I just kind of do everything I can for people, and then stuff kind of comes to me. And so for me, networking is like, I don't know, I'll meet a merch guy at 30 Seconds to Mars at the rave. I'm still friends with him. I met him when I was younger. I'll take a photo of him at the merch booth and send it to him. I think that's a nice thing to do. Hey, this is your job. And then he might help me out in the future. If he doesn't, that's cool. But I'm not taking the photo because I want his help. I'm taking it because I want to take a photo of him. Networking is really anything, just meeting people. So for example, you can meet everybody in this class, be like, hey, where do you shoot at? Maybe if we're ever shooting the same show, we can hang out before, talk about stuff. That's kind of networking to me. It's just doing that. The wrong way to do it to me is like, hey, what do you do for a living? Can I have your number and email? I'm gonna hit you up next time you're in my area. Like kind of making it too robotic, does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Any other questions? You guys are good? Everything makes sense? Sick. Okay. Oh my god, so many texts. Okay. So I have some audio clips here I want to show you. Usually I have this like plug thing we plug into, but I guess they lost it. So I'm gonna do like this. It should work out. I have Ryan from All Time Low is one of them. And Ryan, I've worked with All Time Low for a long time, so he kind of talks about like these are bands are my boss, so I kind of gotta listen to what they like, what they want shot, and he likes to have photos that kind of are a little bit better than what everybody can shoot at their show. So I really have to kind of study their show. Like every day I kind of keep notes. I'll just play the audio clip. He made it a little bit more about me than I intended, so I'm not this conceited. It's his fault. Wasn't with him when he did it, so please don't judge me. Okay. Ryan, where is your audio clip? There it is.
I think what makes a live photographer really good is that they care about when a band is looking their best on stage. I remember one of the first times Elmakias was doing photography for us. I looked at him and he was on his phone at one point, and I was kind of thinking to myself, well, that's weird. He should be paying attention right about now. And so I talked to him about it afterwards, and he showed me what he was doing, and it was just a bunch of notes about when photographs look best on stage. So whether or not, Alex and Jack were jumping at the same time, or Zach and me were making eye contact on stage and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff really makes the difference. I mean, I think it's pretty easy for a photographer to get a shot where a band looks cool on stage, but the difficult part is learning a band to the point where you know when they're going to look best on stage. And I think that's what makes the difference between a good live photographer and a really great one like Adam. He also wears cool little shoes on stage.
Like I said, I wasn't with him when you did that. Yeah, so basically Ryan's just talking about, like, I work for these people, and realistically they could do a lot of stuff I do for them on their own. Maybe not the live show, but a lot of like hanging out shots and stuff. They could, if they want to, have a friend take the photos. But it's kind of a reason why I'm with them, and it's because I try to push it up a little bit more every time to get better shots, stuff that other people can't necessarily get. So if you want to work with a band one-on-one, I suggest starting with them while they're small and kind of growing with them. It takes a long ass time to be on tour with a band, I think. But Yeah, and it should kind of feel natural to ask them to go on tour. It's like kind of like if you're friends with them, then ask them. If you're not friends with them, try to be better friends with them. Does that make sense? Cool. I also have Mike from Pierce the Veil on here. He's kind of talking about, well, I'll just let him show you.
I think the best part about having a photographer on tour with us is being able to capture all those moments you actually never really thought people could see that aren't there. So, you know, people that aren't at that show at the moment, you know, they can kind of get a glimpse of what's to come when they finally get to see that show. And that's pretty much my favorite part is, you know, having kids see a photo and having them feel like they're almost there. So I think that's pretty cool. And also, you know, having a travel photographer with us that we can, you know, hang around with and have a good time with is also a plus always. So it's good times.
Awesome, so that kind of makes sense. They just want somebody they can hang out with, somebody that's around. Obviously, if you don't get along with the band, it's not really going to work out if you're on tour with them. So I also suggest finding somebody who's similar in age, similar in like what you guys enjoy. And you got to be very easygoing, and there's a lot of stuff. It's like a whole other skill set to learn if you want to tour with people. And you kind of got to go into it just ready to learn and ready to make mistakes. Yeah. Does that make sense? Cool. I have Jeremy from A Day to Remember, but his is too quiet for this setup, so I'll kind of explain. They bring a photographer on tour with them to show their family what they do in their life, because they travel a lot worldwide, and they like to show everybody that they lives at home what they do, so that's why they have me around. But a little different. Most people post on Instagram, they just want them for themselves, so a little different job, same kind of career. Alright, any other questions here? Yeah.
If you're used to living by yourself,
Yeah.
how much more different is it living, sitting, like going on tour with all these other different types of people?
It's like being married to like 5 dudes at the least. It's like basically being on tour, you really have to just pull your own weight, be totally self-contained, and it's like probably the hardest thing I think about life ever, because it's really hard to balance, and it's a lot of learning. So I suggest starting in a van where it just absolutely kind of sucks, but you're happy to be on the road, and learning from there and kind of slowly progressing up. If you live by yourself, you're probably actually pretty good at being on tour. The hardest part is just getting alone time, getting like time to just do your own thing. So it's important you take that every day. So like, especially when you're living in a van, maybe it's going to a coffee shop just a little close by for an hour every day, or maybe at night just listen to your music or something. For me, I like play magic cards at night or something like that. Like I find time for myself just so I can stay sane, because I mean, from 8 a.m. to like midnight, there's always stuff to do, and there's always people everywhere, people yelling at you, music going on. It's very, very stimulating. And if I would have started doing a work tour to the extent I'm doing it right now, like 10 years ago, I would probably be like at home crying. And I have had a lot of times where I've left tour, I've gotten real upset, or I've had a hard time. Like, it's like, I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done, is touring, but I learn a lot all the time. But it creates a lot of things you didn't even know could be created. So you just gotta do it, honestly, or you won't be able to learn the things. Yeah.
Do you find that people, like, if you're shooting a band for the first time, do you find that they prefer that you're like really like this fast, or that you're like really like interested?
They just want to get shit done, I think, most of the time. It's good to be personable and like easy to work with, but at the same time quick and efficient. So I usually have like, I'm like very straightforward about where I want them to stand and what I want them to do, but at the same time you gotta meet halfway with them, because they have to make the photo their own. So I probably pretty much give them positions, where to stand, what I'm looking for on the shot, examples, and then I kind of work with them to get those shots out of them. But that kind of stuff is like so different for every band and every person, that the more you do it, the better you're gonna kind of be able to gauge what type of people they are. So you only have a few minutes or whatever to really, maybe you have a few hours, that's better, but for me it was like always a few minutes just to get to know them and go. And yeah, kind of gotta wing it. Any questions before I, no? Alright. So I have this hard drive here that Western Digital gave me. Ooh, and it's 1 terabyte, so you can store photos on this. And I suggest backing your photos up in 2 places all the time, but this could be one of them. And I'm just gonna count you guys off one at a time, and then use a number generator. Whoever wins, wins. Is anybody here not a paying member, customer, just accompanying? You're accompanying? Alright, anybody else? No? Okay, cool. I'm not gonna count you, I'm sorry. Okay? Nothing personal. Sweet. Okay. 1, 2. Can you verify that it says 1 through 15? It says 1 through 15. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Generate. 3. Yay. Here you go. Awesome, guys. We're gonna take a quick group photo, and then that's all we got for you. If you have more questions, email me, alright? Cool? All right, sweet. Thank you guys. You were awesome.